All right, Fire Squad. So happy Saturday to everybody. I'm super excited to go over this information here, because as you know, anything I say out my mouth or what I talk about is ultimate. It's an ultimate goal for you guys to grow, get better, grow bigger, and increase your income. So I'm going to talk about today about going wide and going deep, how to do it, and the benefits of doing it. And I would say the major benefit of going wide and deep outside of offering people who are either middle income, low income, an opportunity to raise their tax brackets and increase their income is for yourself is maximizing your profits. And so I think it really just starts with you have to have a clear mental picture about your business, where the direction you want it to go in, what you want it to do, how much income you want to make, what's your exit plan. Because guys, in this industry, it's very easy to get caught up in personal sales, and personal sales are not bad at all. You definitely want to be a functioning high level producer where you're producing your own income, but don't forget about the end game, because you could look up 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later and realize, number one, you're the only one, and number two, you don't make money unless you go to work. And understand something too, as we get older, we don't get healthier, right? So you're really the youngest you'll ever be, the healthiest you'll ever be right now. And so it's not if, but when your health does change, or someone, maybe your kids or someone close to you that you love and care about, right? You have to put yourself in position to make sure that you still have that same amount of money generated coming in each and every month, and daily. And so if you're that type of person where you don't want to be an insurance agent for the rest of your life, you understand that life will happen, and you want to be prepared. You also want to make sure and solidify your income. You want it to be you want to have a steady, a steady income. You want it to be predictable. Going wide and going deep and building will be your best option. And I think I look at it like this: and anything that you want to do, if you want to grow your hair, if you want to grow muscles, if you want to grow plants, right? If you want to grow or build your business, there is a process involved. And when you skip that process, you ultimately do not build anything. You can't grow your hair. You can't, if you're not planting enough seeds, if you're not watering your plants enough, if you're skipping the process or not doing something or not doing anything at all, the ultimate goal is not going to happen for you. So keep those points in mind. But let me just jump right in. And some of you may not understand what that means. What does going wide and going deep mean, right? So the most popular part of building, the primary part of building, is going wide. What does that mean? You are personally hiring and training people who report to you directly, right? People, you're hiring trainers, people that you can train to train other people direct to you, functioning recruits, right? We're not talking about you hiring just anybody, somebody who doesn't drive, doesn't work, has no goals, no ambition, because obviously, guys, if you play if you play in the broke area, you ultimately will become broke, right? So you are looking for people that are either on your level or above you, all right? Because everybody is looking for an opportunity, right? So you want to go wide, okay, guys? And you're going wide for profitability. The secondary part of building is going deep, all right? And what does deep mean? When you help your personal hire or your personal recruit, and you train them to train someone else to build deep, right? So for example, Kali recruited me, right? She recruited me and she trained me, and now I'm in position to train and build. And a lot of people here are on FFL high voltage. A lot of people that are on here, she didn't necessarily have a direct hand in training most of my team, right? And then some of my team are training their own individuals, right? But that's the beauty of going deep, because ultimately, when you find someone like myself, or you find someone like a Josh, or a Junior, or a Sandra, every Bernice, everybody that's on, when you find someone like that who can train, right, and build, it's actually out of your control. Your business can operate, grow ultimately without you. but would you want to have more or less? So you put the chances in your favor, because in business it's the numbers. So when you go wide, how wide do you want to go, right? Because ultimately when you go wide and that's your main focus, sometimes you may not have to go deep, right? Kali didn't have to tell me to recruit. I decided to recruit. I made a decision, right? Because I want what she has. And if I want what she has, I have to do as she does, right? And follow the process. And so that's, you're really maximizing your profits there, because let me tell you something that does show up in business. Things like chargebacks, things like your health. Now, ultimately remember, 30% of your business will always charge back. That is something that you cannot control. However, you can control, right, how you handle your clients, how you follow up with your clients, and the things that you do in between to prevent outside of the 30% of your chargebacks, right? But we won't really go into that because I want to keep the focus of going wide and going deep, right? But the beauty is when you do have chargebacks, you would not see them as much as you would as if you had a team, right? If you're personally producing the numbers that you need to, but also if you have a massive amount of teams, because it helps you get out of those chargebacks. Not only that, guys, your health is not promised tomorrow. I can remember in this business just not that long ago, right, dealing with my son's school, right, in and out of school because of COVID, you know what I mean, homeschooling from home, coming actually down with COVID, surgery, and my car breaking down back to back. So for months, I made a decision to work from home because that was my only option, right? But I still had a team. So any chargebacks that came, or if I had a bad day, it doesn't matter because I've trained multiple me's so that if I didn't close that day and I worked, I still had other leaders that went out and helped families, and ultimately you're making money, right? So you can decide if you want to have a big business, medium business, small business, but ultimately, guys, you can have an exit plan. You can retire sooner than later if you put yourself in position to go wide and go deep and actually build and grow a business, right? Now, what is that? Because when you're going wide and you're going deep, right? What is a recruit and what is a leg, right? So direct recruits, right, are personal, direct people, right? And they're not a recruit until they have a recruit, right? So each person that you recruit, they're not locked in until they have a recruit. And you want to stay in the hot or warm market. Why? Because if you guys look at your business now, if you don't have anybody with you, start looking for people who you know to join you, right? But if you do have somebody with you, like Kali is my friend. She was my friend before business, right? So a friend is not going to quit on a friend, especially if we making money. Right? You look at Darren and Josh. Darren hired Josh. They're friends, right? They have a friendship. Friends are not going to quit on friends, right? But someone that you know probably, someone that you don't know, they probably would quit on you, right? So if you notice that, would you want to stay in the hot market or would you want to stay in the cold market? And then I understand too, you may not know a lot of people. You may not have a lot of friends. So then what you want to start doing is looking at, the people in your area. Where do you go and get your hair done? Where do you go get your eyelashes done? Yeah, that was supposed to be funny. Where do you go and shop on a regular basis, right? What restaurants do you go to? What bars do you sit at? I was a bartender, right? The people that you're looking for, they're hustling and working, especially today with the way that the world is and the way that the prices are for gas and everything else, right? People are looking for an opportunity, but money is only an issue in the absence of value, right? That's with everything. So start talking. And the cool thing about it is we come from a company where we don't have to hide what we do, right? So I'm constantly telling people this is a high commission sales position. We're talking about, 6 family figures or more, right? We're talking about tell your story, right? I tell my story all the time, right? Most people don't feel like they can make this type of money that we make here. But if they hear your story and the things that you've overcome and where you are now in such a short period of time, why wouldn't they at least come out to a business opportunity meeting to see what it's all about? What else do they have to do, right? They're not making money on their job. They have a family they have to take care of. They're probably in a marriage or relationship that's not, it's not withstanding because of finances. Like people are hurting today, guys, and we have to open up our mouth and talk about it, but you have to step outside of your situation. Because just like when you're in the field, you never want to sell from your pockets. You never want to sell it. You never want to withhold an opportunity with people because you're not where you want to be. So what does that force you to do? It forces yourself to hold yourself accountable to the things that you say you're going to do on a day-to-day basis, right? But then two people are watching you, so it forces you to do the right things and post the right things on social media, right? And also, too, again, if somebody you bring in that you've exposed an opportunity to, if they're killing it and you're not, and they're under you, it forces you to go to work, right? But when you don't open up your mouth and expose that opportunity, you put yourself in jeopardy of not building a business. Now, how do you do that if you're not where you want to be? But when I came into business, I didn't have all the success, right, in the beginning. So I sold colleague, I sold my leadership and what they were doing and what they were training me to do and where I was, where I am now, and where I'm going. And people respected that. I was very honest about where I was and where I came from and where I was going. And then, I remember, telling, the people that I'm trying to get in, that I'm getting involved into the business. Khalid helped 7 families in 1 week. And that is the most money at that time. It's funny that I think about it. She cried because we're guys, if you could have seen where we came from, when I started this business and came from the practice company, I overdrafted my bank account that had $1 in it to put gas in it to get to her house on the opposite side of 495, which was 35 minutes away, 45 minutes in traffic, to go watch her for 1 day in the field to help 1 family. But that started my journey because it gave me confidence. The next day I jumped in the field, and I've never helped less than 10 families since then. And I didn't sit at home and watch products all day. I didn't, have a bunch of questions, and I wasn't in front of a client. I wasn't, making complaints about where I am and not doing anything about it. I jumped in. I said, I know I'm going to make mistakes, but the cool thing about this business is you get to earn while you learn. And if I stay close to Kali, if you stay close to the person that brought you in, and you communicate with them, you find out the things that they did wrong or maybe didn't have success in, and what works and what doesn't work, so you can get to where you're going faster, right? So definitely a recruit is not a recruit until you have a recruit. Now, what is a successful leg, right? So that recruit can turn into a solid leg. What does that mean? That means 4 recruits deep. And guys, always, I don't see nobody writing this down because this, I'm telling you, if you ever go and look at or read the PDF, The Magic of Compounded Recruiting, you can Google it. This is what I live by. 150 licensed agents in less than 2.5 years. Holly has over 600 licensed agents in 3 years. It's not by accident. It's by what we live by. It's the recruiting Bible. It's what we came from. It works. Okay, it really does. The cool thing about it here is you actually make money here, and a lot of other companies you don't, right? So what is a successful leg? It's 4 deep, right? So what does that mean? That means your recruit has a recruit, that recruit hired a recruit, and then that third recruit hired their 4th recruit. Usually the first person deep is the explosion. And what do I mean by an explosion? Somebody like myself, somebody who can operate efficiently and train people, and they're producing at a high level and they're building. Now, is everybody going to be like that in your business? No, right? Some people are going to be spare time. Some people are going to be part time. Some people are going to be full time. The cool thing about having everybody in your business, right, is the fact that that's that one more application, that's that one more person that was brought into your business that you didn't have to do, right? And if you look at Santa Claus, how is Santa Claus able to, and this is a story, but how is Santa Claus able to go to every home and deliver every present? He has staff, right? I mean, he went and did it himself, but he couldn't make all the presents himself, right? So who made the presents? The elves, right? So just that concept alone will let you know you can have a bunch of presents, which are people and gifts in your business, right? Because I feel like I'm a gift to Kali, Kali's a gift to me, right? But guys, you have to open up your mouth and you have to talk to people, right? So again, a leg is not a leg until you have 4 people deep. And how do you do that? What do you say, right? Because a lot of you are like, well, I don't know what to say to people. Just be honest, right? Tell your story. When I'm calling someone, hey, listen, I kept your number as a referral. someone referred you to me some time ago and said you were motivated and great with people, our brand new office, and guys, it doesn't have to be a brand new office, right? But it is kind of a brand new office. But a brand new office in Glen Burnie, Maryland. We're doing some expanding right now. We're looking for solid individuals to work with to help satisfy this massive amount of requests of life insurance that we have coming in. We're looking for life insurance agents that want to work part-time or full-time, right? To pretty much change your financial situation and help other people, right? You currently keep your options open to a better opportunity if the money were right. And then if they're having hiccups, I tell my story. You know, I'm a single mom. I run an entire business myself, been here for 2.5 years, and I average 10 families a month. I mean, 10 families a week, right? So tell your story. Someone is looking to come out of their situation, but if you don't open your mouth, that won't happen, right? So, and then the other thing I want to touch on is, you know, don't focus so much on the deep part. It's cool to build deep. You always want to replace somebody. So, like if you have somebody in your business and they're not really doing as much as you would like for them to do or for themselves based on what they came in to do and what they told you they were going to do, find somebody that they know and build under them. I can't tell you enough. It moves people when they have someone under them. They don't want the person that's the recruit that's under them to outshine them. So, like for example, if Khalid found, let's say Khalid worked, well, you actually did. You had a conversation with Darren, right? And you were talking to Darren, you were grooming Darren, you know, while I was out doing, you know, helping families and also doing the same thing. And then you communicated with Josh, right? And your communication was consistent with Josh. Then we all jumped in there, right? And then Josh came in, right? So the beauty about that is Khalid was able to help me in that situation, right? Where she was an added kind of like bonus to bring Josh aboard. And now look at Josh now, right? So don't focus so much more on going deep because you're going to have help. Either your business partners that brought you in are going to help you, you're going to do it, or if the person that you brought in is motivated enough, they'll just run off and start bringing people in themselves, right? So definitely focus on going wide, which is super important. Again, with is for profitability, going deep is for security, and it makes your business and your income is something that you can count on each and every month. I know I have X amount of riders each and every month, so that if I fall short on my personal goals, it still gets made up through the base numbers. And so that's super important, right? And always remember this: you can't have grandchildren until you have kids, right? And so in this business, going going wide is having kids. Going deep is having grandchildren and great grandchildren. So if you want to build a successful business, it starts with you first. You have to go out and talk to massive amount of people. The cool thing about this business and where we came from, right? Where we came from, we were a captive agency. So there were a lot of things we couldn't advertise. We really had to watch our words, the way what we said. We could not say that, we couldn't say a lot of things, guys. So it's very, very hard, right? Here you have tons of resources on how you can find the people you're looking for. There's Monster, Indeed, Craigslist, your warm market, your hot market, the people that you know. If you look in your phone book right now, that's really who I suggest that you start with. Based on the people that you have in your phone, some people have anywhere between 100 to 200 to over 1,000 people or 1,000 contacts in your phone. What if I told you right now, if you reached out to everybody in your phone, right, and don't text them, call them, that each person that you reach out to is attached to a dollar sign. So I thought about that even in your social media. Some of you have over 1,000 friends on social media, but you won't talk to them because you're not confident in where you are. So you have to step your game up, right? You know that they're watching you, so you may not be posting all the most positive things on what you're doing, right? So you want to make sure, guys, you're doing all the right thing, and anybody can change from today. But be mindful when you're building a business, people are watching. So be very conscious about what you post on social media, what you're saying. No, and don't take this the wrong way. Nobody cares about what you're going through. Nobody cares about what you've been through. No one cares. Okay. If I asked anybody on this call right now who is going through something or in something or currently coming out of something, everybody's going to raise their hand. But the people that prevail and that become successful are those who make a decision to come out of the situation and doing the things and making the sacrifices to get uncomfortable, right? To sleep with success. You can't have the business and the income that you want with the current habits you have right now. And if you want to do something different, you got to do something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You can't sleep in bed and sleep with success at the same time. Comfort and success don't sleep in the same bed. But it's going to require a new you. It's going to require new habits. I look at it like working out. You want to, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I made a decision that because of my health, I want to be here for my team. I want to be here for my future. I want to be here for my son. So I ordered a Peloton bike. So when I get up, I can't necessarily be the house and go work out, but I can jump in my living room and get on my Peloton bike. And so now I make a conscious decision to start getting back, eating the right things, drinking more water, right? That is the recipe to getting the health that I want. But what is your recipe to getting the business and the income that you want? And what's your relationship with your money? You want your money to go wide and deep? Well, why aren't you going wide and deep in your business? Right? So you got to kind of think about the things that I'm talking about here and really have a self check, because I've had several of them and I still do. And I'm not perfect, and none of us on this call are. But what we can get perfect at is getting better and doing the right things, right? You're not going to always make the right decisions, but guess what? You get to learn from the decisions that you make, and you'll quickly realize you don't like the way you feel. You don't like the way your pockets are. You don't like the way people treat you. If you don't like the way somebody is treating you, go find some new people. If your team is not doing anything, go find some new people, right? It's the same with a relationship. You don't like the way your husband is treating you, go get you a new husband. It is what it is. And I'm being real with you guys. You have to relate it to real life, because a lot of us are not where we want to be because we're constantly making the same habits and the same decisions that's putting us back in the place where we don't want to be. But most people don't put the burger down until they find out they have diabetes. It is what it is. We're not perfect, but we can all get better. And if you want to grow and build a business, I can tell you this right now. A lot of people won't become millionaires, but a lot of people will live a very comfy life and have a very nice income just by hiring the right person, or recruiting the right person, excuse me. I don't have to be great. I just got to find a lot of people that are great. And I don't want to be the best. I want to find the best people. So for me, I got to be the best that I can be. And all you can do is all you can do to find a Josh, or to find a Kali, or to find a Vernique, or to find a Junior and Tierra, right? So, but you got to be doing the right thing. And so that's really all I have. If you have any questions about going wide and going deep, or just recruiting in general, I'm here to go over that. And guys, let me leave you with this. What you do now when you're building, the seeds that you're planting, the people that you're bringing in, you will not see success until 60 to 90 days from the day that you start recruiting. You have to give people time to learn and grow. Everybody has their own learning curve. Some people get it right away, some people don't, right? Not everybody wants to be a top producer, and that's okay. Not everybody wants an integrity partnership. That's okay. Find out what people want and sell them the dream to the business, because we have what they need. You can't blow them out of the water by talking something bigger than what it is. Let them figure that out themselves, because when Kali came in this business, she only wanted to make $1,000, a thousand families, you know what I mean, one family equals 1,000, one family a month, when she came into the practice company. But she slipped up on 50, and she doesn't have to do all of them herself. You see what I'm saying? So your vision, even, I see Josh nodding your head. What he came in for, now he wants something more. Your mind is like a rubber band. It never goes back. Once it's expanded, it never goes back to its original size. You'll start to find out, right, that there are things that you like and love that you haven't tried yet. And once you start getting into the inner circles, guys, it's a different conversation. When we get into the inner circles with Frank, Sean, Mike, a lot of these guys, I start finding out what they're spending their money on, and I've never heard of this stuff before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you start learning new things new concepts, just life in general, the things that you can do, the opportunities, the things that you can do with your family with money. But how would you know unless you get there? There's something more from where you are. And if you go focus on going wide and going deep, guys, you can have a successful business. You can have a ton of people, because once you hire a fireball and a stud, your business starts to grow and to get on fire without you, which is pretty cool. So does anybody have any questions?
I do. So, and this might make some people nervous, Karyn, because you said a direct recruit is somebody who you're responsible for training, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm brand new, right, I might be scared of that, because how can I train somebody, because a lot of people say, I'm gonna wait until I know, you know what I'm saying? So talk about that, explain that a little bit in more detail.
Absolutely. So I look at it like, let me take Sandra for an example. Sandra, unmute yourself for me, please.
Okay.
So let's pretend Sandra doesn't want to build a business, right? And let's say, and she doesn't want to build a business because she's not comfortable. She's not making the money she wants. She's not comfortable because she just, she's scared, right? And she doesn't know anything. She's brand new, brand spanking new, right? So Sandra, I understand that you don't want to build a business, but let me ask you a question, right? If I owned a Waffle House, right, and I said I'd pay you 6 figures to cook and be a chef at the Waffle House, and I'll also provide free training, would you say yes?
I would say yes.
Why?
Because you're providing me with all the training, you're providing me with all that money.
Okay. Have you ever cooked before?
Yes, I have. Oh, no, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Like, are you a professional chef?
No, I'm not.
Okay. But I can get you certified and trained, right?
Yes.
As long as it's 6 figures?
As long as it's 6 figures.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If I told you to go grab your 6 closest friends and family members that's just like yourself, that's sharp and motivated, and they can come in at the same position as well, and if I hired and trained them for you, every time they cook, you'd get a bonus, would you go grab your 6 closest family members and friends?
Of course.
Why?
Because I'm not the one training them, you are. Because I'm still learning.
It's the same thing with this business, guys, right? You may not want to build a business because you're scared. Thank you, Sandra. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to build. You don't know how to recruit a recruit. You don't know how to do anything, right? The cool thing about it is you have your business partners, right? So the same opportunity is here. We know you don't know how to recruit. We know you maybe haven't closed your first sale yet or helped your first family, and that is okay. But if I trained your team for you so that every time they helped a family, you got paid, right? How soon would you want to start building? Who likes money coming in without you having to work for it? Raise your hand. You get what I'm saying? So money is only an issue in the absence of value. You have to talk about the value. You have to ask the right questions. The same way that's what I tell everybody. I use the Waffle House example. Because then people say, oh, okay, I see now. All right, so if I bring on my 6 closest family members or friends, right, that are sharp and motivated like me, anytime they do something, I get paid without having to be there? Yes. But the ultimate opportunity, guys, is the money is just a byproduct. If you want to help more families, I realize you can't do it by yourself. I can't be in Maryland and Arkansas or Maryland and Florida at the same time. But I can recruit agents in those areas and train them so that I can help families nationwide. Does that make sense? It's the same with McDonald's, the way McDonald's started, right? Our burgers and fries are life insurance, right? Life insurance, mortgage protection, and asset protection, right? That's our burgers and fries. Or just, recruiting and helping a family with life insurance, right? That's all you really have to get good at, but you get good at just doing it, allowing us to help you. When you're in the home or you're having trouble, call us. It amazes me how we don't get enough phone calls of people who need help when they're in the home, people who need help if you're trying to recruit someone and they just may not be on board yet. There's something that we can say and do, right, that'll help you get that one person in the business. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like when, even though I made the money that I made, it wasn't just enough for me to get brought on or to bring Josh aboard. I used Khalid, right? The same when I came into business. Khalid used Andre to bring me in, right? The more the merrier, right? I saw a lot of people winning, right? And this is why it's important to get people to a business opportunity meeting into an office. When I said yes to insurance in general in the practice company, I didn't see money. I saw young people happy, that were winning, that was, they portrayed themselves to be successful. They were high energy. I've never seen anything like it. And because of the environment, because of the information, because of the opportunity and the money that I could make, what do I have to lose? Right? Unless I don't work. And so when I came here, it was another level, right? I actually saw people's checks. I actually saw what Kali was making. I actually saw people's lives being changed, right? And then in the mix of being connected with them and allowing her to help me not only build my business until I was able to do it on my own, right? But also helping me in the home with clients. Now and another thing too, guys, if you want to build a business, right, and you don't want to necessarily have to be in communication with your business partners all the time, like, we have to force each other to kind of communicate with each other because we're so freaking busy. Like, we talked all the time before, but like, we rarely talk now, right? We have to like we'll call each other at like 12 o'clock in the morning. Like, this is the only time we have that I can talk to you, right? But that's the cool thing about it, right? Create your exit plan, because guys, you can work hard for 2 to 3 years, right? You can go wide and go deep for 2 to 3 years, and you can have an exit plan. And why is that amazing? Because a lot of you on here are young, and a lot of you on here are a little bit older, and you are realizing that you want to enjoy your life, right? And you don't know how much time you have. So you can decide to take a skateboard to California, or you can take a jet. It's your choice, but you are the one that has to make the decision first. And once you make that decision, just like Kali did when she came in and she was by herself, 3 years later, over 600 agents, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. And so that's the beauty of going wide, going deep, and building a business. Does anybody else have any questions? I answered your question, or went over what you wanted me to go over, right, Colleen?
Kind of.
Oh, okay. Go over what I didn't touch on.
No, I mean, so I think like the biggest thing is, and you hit it, but I want to make sure that it's clear, is just because you're new, right, doesn't mean that you have to, and Karyn said personally train, doesn't mean you have to personally train agents. We have, you know what I'm saying, like, we have a system in place that's going to train the agents just in general. So the key is, at this point, for everybody on the phone, is to get people into the system, right? And start building an agency for yourself so that you can really build yourself a legacy, right? So you have to make, and I know some of us, I know how I feel sometimes, just because we did this so much in the other company, it kind of feels like, oh my God, we gotta do it here again. You don't have to do anything here, right? But if you want to have an exit strategy out of insurance, and you want to multiply your income, you want to have a team of people to help you do that. And I guarantee you guys, this business is more fun when you have other people in the business with you, right? It's not fun. It's fun when you're making money, but when you're making money by yourself, that's not fun. But when you have people around you that you already have a connection with, that you already have a relationship with, and you guys are making money together, is much more satisfying that way, right? So because if you were hanging around with a bunch of broke people, and the people that you hang around don't have no money, they can't do what you can do, that's not fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Karyn can go out to dinner, and Karyn is not like, oh my God, I don't know if I might just be able to get the chicken, you know what I'm saying? Because we can afford to if we want lobster, we'll eat lobster, right? But if you hanging with people they're not doing what you're doing, most likely they're probably not making the same kind of money that you're making. And probably the bigger piece of it is their mindset is not the same mindset that you have, right? And so, there's people that I have friends that I've been friends with for a very long time. And I don't not deal with those friends. They're still my friends, but we're not having the same conversations, right? We're not talking about investing, and we're talking about stuff that really in the scheme of everything doesn't matter, right? But how about having conversations or having people around you that are talking about investing, talking about making money, talking about changing lives, talking about helping people? Get your friends, and that's why we're talking about your friends and your family, because those are the people that you have the credibility with. They know you, and as Karyn said, most likely people are not going to quit on a friend, right? Like Karyn is around, she's still around because we're making money, but then we're also having fun and we're friends. You know what I'm saying? I knew Jawan before FFL, right? There's a lot of people on this call that I knew before Family First Life, and they're still here because we already had a relationship, right? Because it takes 8 to 12 hours to build a relationship with somebody. So if you bring somebody in new, you have to spend a lot of time proving yourself, who you are, you know what I'm saying, your credibility, your integrity to them. But if you have somebody that you already know and already have a relationship with, your credibility is already built, right? And then again, I think I said this last week, how would it feel, right? You have a friend that you didn't talk to about Family First Life, and a year from now, 2 years from now, you balling, and they're like, well, what are you doing? Why you didn't tell me about it, right? The worst that somebody can say to you is no, right? They're not interested. But if you don't ask, you'll never know, right? So it's the same as if you're booking an appointment. If you don't push a little bit and they say they're not interested, then you'll never get the appointment. But if you push a little bit and ask them about why they're not, ask them more questions around why they may not be interested in changing their life financially, then I forgot where I was going with that whole statement. Oh my God. But anyway, like you want to have the conversations with people that start there with people that you know, because most people are struggling, right, guys? Gas prices, they're going down now, but they're still high, right? Most people are living paycheck to paycheck, right? And they might look real good on social media, might look real good on Instagram, but most people, even if they got a big house and nice cars, they're house poor or they're broke, right? I had a big house before when I was married, and then when we separated, I had this big house and I hated it because all I had was the big house. I could hardly afford to pay for the big house, right? And so somebody would have told me, hey, you can make an extra $2,000-$3,000 a month part-time. I would have jumped on that, right? And you have people, as Karyn said, you got people in your phone that would do the same thing, but you haven't had enough, you haven't thought enough of them to reach out to them and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. You can't leave it all up to social media, especially in your warm market. Like I talked to Karyn over and over and over again about this business. We talked to Josh a couple different times about this business. Josh did not come right away, right? I talked to Jawan a couple different times about this business, right? Vernika's been around for a while, but she's made a decision recently to really get started and get her hands going in this business. So you're going to have to put in some work to find the right people, but eventually you find them. But if you never talk about what you're doing and the money that you're making, you're never going to find people. Like they're not going to just all of a sudden, nobody's going to be like, oh, Junior, you sell Junior's friends, he's been doing it so long, they probably already know. But if they don't know, they're not like, Junior, you're making $10,000 a month now, right? How are they going to know if you don't say nothing? Right? Josh, they're not going to know that I got these season tickets to the Commanders, right? How did you get the season tickets? Because you're making money, you know what I'm saying? But we can't just leave it up to social media, Instagram to sell them, especially your friends and your family, the people that you know about this business. I hope that makes sense, guys, because again, at the end of the day, this is your business, your opportunity, and you have the decision to make to either build a business or not. So, and Karyn talked about having all those issues earlier this year. If she didn't have a team, Karyn, because she didn't say this part, even though she was selling over the phone, she wasn't selling as much as she was selling when she was going in the field, right? And so, but because she had a team, that insulated her against like losing, like going out of business, right? So that's what a team does. It will insulate your business, and it gives you a plan. It gives you an exit strategy. Any questions, guys? We got like 2 more minutes. Everybody, so that means everybody, when they get off this call, they're gonna recruit. That's what that means, if nobody has any questions.
That's what it's saying, right?
Miss Regina has a question.
Miss Regina, go ahead.
You're muted, Miss Regina.
Still learning the Zoom thing. Yes, my name is Regina Owens, and I've been working with State Farm for like 12 years. So
Okay.
I stopped in June, and I joined first only because my sister-in-law told me about it, because I told her I was going back independent. I was independent before through Midland. And so right now I'm juggling a lot of things. I'm an ex-postal person, 35 years. I'm an ex-nurse. I had 2 restaurants. I had my own shop in Williamsburg. So I had a lot going on. My husband, so now I'm into Family First. I really don't know anything about Family First by just joining it and things. And recruiting, I'm familiar with recruiting because I was in prepaid legal, Primerica, and all that. Because I'm a marketing person. And that's why I left Primerica, because I didn't like the recruiting. I don't like, but I can always learn. You see what I'm saying? And I understood what the first speaker was talking about. You get in there for 90 days and you just want to make money. My goal was just making money right now, have extra cash on the side. Right. But then when you get that first recruit, you turn around and, hey, wow, I like this, you know, if that person does what you think they're going to do. So my thing, the reason why I'm saying something now is that I heard everything you said. I'm just a little slow at it right now because I'm doing Medicare.
That's okay.
I'm doing, you know, this, and I'm for me. I got all my licenses, life, health, auto, P's, and all that stuff. So my thing is 71 years old, 71 years young.
I know that's right. She about to show all, what she about to say, she about to show all y'all out, okay?
Yeah, and I've done a lot. I've done a lot. Come along. I'm a quick learner. I just got juggling a lot of things right now. Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. So y'all continue.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome. No, I mean, it's all good. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, as long as you understand, like Karyn said at the beginning, where you going, right? And you got to know where you're going so that you can know the direction that you need to go in. Like if you came here to build a business on your own, or if you came here to sell insurance, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Do that. But if you came here to build a business and build an agency and you want an exit plan out of insurance, because Ms. Regina, I'm sure you don't want to sell insurance. You're 71 now. I'm sure you don't want to sell insurance till you're 100, right? So we all need to have some kind of exit strategy. And if Ms. Regina had been at FFL a couple years ago, she probably wouldn't have to be working like she's working at 71 now. If she came to FFL, right, and build an agency. So guys, just again, keep it in the forefront of your mind about people, and then just open your mouth and have the conversation about making more money part-time. Like Karyn said, I got into insurance just to make an extra $1,000 a month. And 10 years ago, that was a game changer to me, right? So we're talking about telling people to making 2, 3, Previous is part-time. Previous is making $6,000, $7,000 a month part-time. Sell Previous, right? Get Previous on the phone with your recruit, right? Use the other people around you as examples to be able to sell to people if you don't have your own example quite yet, right? But again, know where you're going, write down your plan, write down your goal, what you want it to look like, because if you don't write it down, it's just a dream, right? But when you write your goals down, it does something to your mind, and it makes you look for certain things that you wouldn't be looking for previously. So write down where you want to be in a year from now. And it doesn't matter how crazy it looks. If you say, I want to have 1,000 agents under me in the next year, write that down, and then your mind will automatically start going in that direction. But just don't think about it. Write your goals so that you know the direction you're going in, guys. So that is it, guys. Let me, I'm going to stop the recording.